Oh, yeah, wow. Okay.
No, please.
A basic understanding of web programming or programming. No.
Nope.
Zero.
Zero.
Jesus Christ. Hey, online, I can hear you too. Oh, I thought the online
Yes,
people.
zero.
Oh, okay, no problem. So we will start from the basics and work our way up. The end goal of this whole course is that you can build a functional application that would be online, take information from someone online, store it into a database, retrieve it, delete it, and so on and so forth. You can do that at least. So that is the aim at which we are here. HTML, or let me start from here. As I said, we will be learning these five languages being CSS, HTML, PHP. Would you be able to, I will also, so why will we be learning HTML? We'll be learning HTML because HTML allows us to give our site structure. So the HTML will provide the structure of which our site is going to be in. If this was a house, let's take this as the pillars, okay, without the walls and the colors and everything that goes with it. This allows our site to have its structure. Are we okay? Now, the next thing we will do is learn CSS, and the CSS will allow us to learn about design and how we can design our site and give our site its imagery, its beauty, its all of those things that come with a site. The HTML, the CSS will allow us to do that. The JavaScript will allow us to do all the interactivity of our site. So the JavaScript job is for the interactivity. Of our site. That is, if you click on something, then the thing will shake. If you click, then the thing will disappear and come back, and all of those things. It is the JavaScript job to handle all of those things for us. It is also the job of the PHP to serve as a bridge between our front end and back end. Hence, it will help us to provide dynamism to our sites, improve the interactivity by allowing us to pick data from the database and all of those things, okay? So this will give us our dynamism. And then, of course, finally, you have our SQL. The programming language you'll be coding when we get to MySQL is SQL. The MySQL is the database management system. So if I say we are going to be coding MySQL, that is, and the MySQL will serve as our database. So it is there that housing all the information we have in our system and so on and so forth. So this is the structure of which our learning is going to be based on. There is a question where students ask at this stage, say, do I really need to learn all of these things? You do. To be honest with you, some of them can be substituted. For example, I can substitute the PHP with Node.js or with C# or with Java Spring Boot or so on and so forth. Or with what? Or with what? Python. So I can substitute the PHP with these things. I can substitute the MySQL with Postgres, with Mongo DB, and so on and so forth. So we can substitute some of these things when we are doing our coding. Some of them too, we were not going to substitute. And why are we not going to substitute? Our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, technically, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript form our front-end languages. So HTML, CSS will provide us with our front end. And then PHP, MySQL, Node.js, all of those things will provide us with our server-side or back-end word languages. Now, again, it should be noted here, it is a front-end language because it is compiled in the front end. And these things here, that is the PHP, the MySQL, and so on, are back-end languages because they are compiled in the backend or in the server. So the location whereby the code would be compiled, the code would be put together and allowed to be displayed. That is what gives it either a front end or a back end. Now, do you realize that some people are there who go for an interview? And when you go for the interview, they would ask you, what programming language can you code? Are you a front-end or a back-end developer? Then you proudly say, I am a full-stack developer, which means that all the programming languages we have here are all bundled as stacks, like shelves or cardboard boxes, which are put one on top of the other. So I am building on the languages as if I am building shelves or boxes one on top of the other. Hence, I am stacking them up. Hence, if I can code all of these things, I am a full stack developer because all the stacks of the development have been put up for you. But another thing they would ask you is, oh, so what can you do? Then you proudly say, I am a full stack developer. I am very good with IT. So what are the stacks you can code? The stacks meaning the languages. And you proudly say, oh, I can code in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then they'll ask, is that all? You say, yes. You have lied because you didn't add any server-side language. Hence, you are not a full-stack developer. You are just a front-end what? Developer. Then the people will not give you the job. Then you say it's African magic. It is not, because you did not know the wording of what you are doing. We are going to learn both stacks of the game. We are picking PHP because it's the easiest one we can learn within the shortest time we have. And then we will see how we'll blend the two together. So as I said, today our first job is to learn the HTML. And by the way, those online, it is being recorded. So after the class, I would send you the recording of the class. Is that okay? Those online, are there any questions so far?
Sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Let's continue.
No, sir.
No,
Hello,
please.
sir.
No, please, sir.
All right. So HTML,
Hello.
that's what we're going to start off today. Now, the HTML, as I said, provides our application with structure. HTML is an abbreviation for hypertext markup language. Okay, so hypertext markup language. HTML is a markup language. HTML is not the only markup language we have in this stage. We have XML, which is also a markup language. Those of you who have ever taken a picture before, and everybody here has taken a picture before, unless you are holding a young phone, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm sure it means something. We have all taken a picture before in our life. And if we have taken a picture before in our life, we'll realize that whenever you send a picture to somebody, tell the person, oh, he took it at the Kosovo, at this date, at this time, the picture is this size, and so on and so forth. It is that because the markup language XML comes with every single picture in which you take. And this job is to temporarily store data to give an object semantics or context. So markup languages are predominantly built to send information, you attach information to it to give it more what? Meaning. Now, if that is the case, it means that if I am building my entire site in HTML, there is a problem. Why is there a problem? HTML was built to transfer data over the internet. Now, if it is transferring data, it becomes too large. It wasn't built for design. It wasn't built for interactivity. It was built for us to just migrate data from one place to the what? The other. That is why we need the CSS and the JavaScript. Because HTML by its nature was not built for design. There are design components in it, but that's not what its purpose is. For me to write a HTML piece of code, I have to write it using a tag. So what is a tag? Now, I know this one is what? Is it less than or greater than? Which one is it? Less than. Okay. Yeah, I'm not good with maths. So. And then this one here is what? So whatever I put in within here, so let's say if I put body here, then this becomes the body one. If I go and then do the same thing here, and I write title here, then this becomes the title what? If I come in here and I write P here, then this becomes the P what? Now, every single tag has an opening and a closing. Opening and a what? Closing. So I can open the tag and I will close the tag at the point whereby that's it. Over here, if I type in the boy is good, the boy is what? Good. If I type this here, this is the open tag, and this is the close tag. So again, those online, you realize here we have the open tag and then the close tag. So wherever your code starts, you put the open tag there. Wherever your code ends, you put the word there, the close tag there. So your wording, that is the boy is good, is wrapped around by the open and close word tag. Not every tag has a close tag. There are special case tags. For example, the input tag. It doesn't have a what? Close tag. For example, the break tag or the line tag for horizontal line. These are all examples of tags which do not have a close. Is that okay? Are we sure? The next question students will always ask in these cases, do I have to learn all the tags? You don't, because there are thousands of them. And to be honest, even me, I don't remember them. I have to be honest. But there are some key ones you will use every day you must remember. And when you get to the point of a code, when you want to do something and you need a tag to take you to the next level, then you can go and research on what tag to use. But there are some tags we must know. And we are going to write the coding for the tags that we must what? Know. Is that okay? So, how we write it? We have to go and open up a folder. The folder is going to serve as our root folder. So your root folder becomes the environment in which all your work dwells within. So all your work will dwell within that environment. If I am going to give you If let's say I do a job for you and you have to come and give me the work, you give me the work as a root word folder. So it means all the work you do should be in the root folder. The reason you do the root folder is that if everything is in the root folder, whenever you are changing or you are moving the documents, it is easier for you. Sometimes, if the work is not in the root folder, you move it. Let's say I have a presentation to do for some job. I'll just pick the file and go. Because all the content and resources are not in the same folder, I'll forget them on my laptop. I'll go and then my site will not be opening because some resources are what? Missing. Everything we do, every different work we do, even if in a day we do 5 different works, each one should be in its own word folder. Each one. No matter what we do. So because this is a front-end language, it technically means that I do not require a server to open it. Because a back-end language, because it is going to be run in a server, I need a server. But for a front-end language, I don't need any server. So it means I can just open my computer, look for an empty location on my computer, let's say my desktop. So here I have my desktop. I can right-click on my desktop. I can go and click on new folder. In here, I can type in the folder's what? Name. So in here, I'm going to type in there my site. One word. Are we okay? And then I'm going to open my site. Now, it is here that all my files are going to be dwelling in. So it is this folder that I want to open inside VS Code so that all the activities will take place in the what? VS Code. Does that make sense? So to do that, I will just right-click here. And because I'm using Windows 11, and if you're not using Windows 11, I wonder why. You go and click on what? Open in terminal. And once I click on open in terminal, it will open CMD for me. So CMD will pop up very soon. Tada, I have CMD. And then I will type in code space dot. And when I press enter, it is going to open VS Code for me. Open the folder I have just opened for me so that I can continue my work. Well, can you see that? Those of you who are not using Windows 11, and I don't know why you are not using Windows 11. Anyway, you are going to have to go and click on File. So let me zoom in so that those of you in the class can see and those of you at home can also have a look at it. So I'm going to zoom in, and over here, I'm going to click on what? File. And then I'm going to click after that on Open Folder. And then I will browse to the location of my what? Folder. So wherever my folder is, that is it's in desktop. And then inside desktop, I'll go and look for what? My site. I'll make sure that my site is open. Are we okay? And then I'll go and click on, it should be here somewhere, but this thing is blocking it up. So let me close these ones. Is it? Oh, good. Select what? Folder. Then it will open the folder over here for us to interact with it directly. For example, if I click new file here and I type in index.html, are we okay? Over here. And I go and then open the folder I just created. So if I go to my site, in here, I should see index file created here for me. That means everything I do inside the VS Code will take an effect inside my work folder. Hence, all my work will be grouped there. So if I want my work, all I have to do is just send what? My site. And the person will have all my work. So those of you in the classroom, those of you too at home, I want you to go to your desktop, open a folder called My Site, and open it inside VS Code. Is that okay?
Please, can you take us through again?
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, no problem. So I said that if you want to open your folder or your work in VS Code, you would open the directory you want to. In this case, I am inside my desktop. Are we okay? I'm going to right-click and go and look for new, and go and look for new folder. Are we okay? So over here, I have a new folder here for me to work with. Then in here again, I will type in the folder name I want. I will type in the folder name I want. So in this case, I'll type in, let's say, Lucky, and then I'll press enter. And when I'm done, I will open the folder called Lucky. And I can do two things here. If I am using Windows 11, I can right-click, click on Open in Terminal, and type in code dot, and it will open the folder I have for me. So I can do it that way. So here you can see I've opened Terminal, and I can type code space what dot, and this will open the folder Lucky for me. So you can see Lucky over here. If yes, those who have Windows 10, you are to go to your programs file, type there VS Code so that this will come out, right? VS Code, right? If you have installed it. So when you open the VS Code, then you go and click on File. And then once you click on File, you go and click on Open Folder. And once you click on Open Folder, you browse to where your folder is. So in my case, my folder is in desktop and it's called what? Lucky. And when I open it, then I'll select folder. Then it will open for me like this. So you can see that over here, I have the folder name here called what? Lucky. That is how I know that my environment here is in that folder called what? Lucky. Exactly. Those online, are we okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have to type in some code over here. We have to type in some code. All right, some code in here. So what are we going to write? The first thing we are going to write is the basic structure of a HTML page. The basic structure of a HTML page. The basic structure of every HTML page is you have the HTML tag. So open and close tag. Note how I am typing. You can see that I'm not typing like it is an essay. When I open the tag, what did I do? I closed it. We can see, can we see that? Those online, can you see?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yes.
Now again, over here, I will type in my head tag. So the head tag. And then the body tag is under the head tag. Again, we can see that there is an indentation over here where I've highlighted blue. Is an indentation. Tells me that the head tag and the body tag is inside the what? HTML tag. Can we see that? Now, those people who start programming first, they will type everything like this. Now, for me, I can read it. For you, it will be difficult for you to read. So indentation is very important for readability. Again, inside the head tag, we have the title tag. And then inside the title tag, you can give the title of your website. So here the title is My First Site. Inside the body tag, we will have a H1 tag for header 1 that says, this is my first site. And then I'll have a P tag, which says every body is welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that this here is the basic structure in which every HTML page would take. In the exam, I can ask you, what is the basic structure of a HTML page? 2 marks. I expect you to draw or type this thing here for me. Exactly how you see it. No difference. Note that in the exam, every time you miss a tag, let's say you do a title tag, and you forget to bring the close title, -1. Let's say you do the title tag, and you forget that here there should be a slash in front of the close title tag, -1. So mistakes should be kept to a minimum of 0. And the question is, sir, everybody cannot be perfect. In programming, you should be perfect. So you are going to be perfect. At least, if I thought you go on there, you are going to be perfect. Again, for a structure of a HTML tag, we have the HTML tags. Everything would be in the HTML tags. The HTML tag tells the browser that the content there is of type HTML, so it will treat it as what? HTML. We have the head tag. The head tag is the first thing that will be loaded in the browser before the body tag comes. The head tag is a very important tag. Normally, it holds the title, the metadata of the site, sensitive data, who designed the site, your CSS code, your JavaScript code. All of them are contained inside the what? Head tag. The body tag is where we are going to design our entire site. Now, if I save this and I press Ctrl S to save, and then I go to my folder, and my folder, remember, was on our desktop, and we called it my site. And I double click on the index page. We can see that the site is there for me. It opens in the browser. And what do we see here? And let's have a discussion of that, okay? What we see there. Over here at the top, we can see my first what? Title, my first site. This is what we typed in the title tag. That means that whenever you open a site, the thing you see over there is the title word tag. Over here, we can see this is my first site, right? This is the body tag. And in the body tag, we put in the H1 there, and we put in a P tag for paragraph over there. We can see that everything we type on the display side, it has what? Shown. Let us try it at our end and see the results we get. Now let's type in, first of all, we are going to click on File. So where you have the My Site at, let's click on the folder next to it that says a new file. Are we okay? And when you click there, type in the index.html. So the space that is provided, in my case, I already have index. So here I'll type process.html. But for you, type index.what? HTML. Is that okay? And when you're done, you press enter. Now, it should open on the side for you, but if it doesn't, just double click it and it will open on the side for you. Is that okay? And then once you are done, type in the code you see on your screen. Those online, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
When you're done typing, try opening it and see if you get the same result. Are we okay? Those of you who already have knowledge in HTML, don't worry, we'll speed up very soon. But for now, we just want everybody to be equal. Then when we start speeding up, we'll all be on the same path.
I can't hear you.
Are we okay? Are we done?
Yes.
So those online, as I told you, I expect you to be behind a PC because I would be asking you at random to be sharing your screen so I see what you are doing. So I hope we are all by our computers, right?
Yes, Doc. Yes.
Okay, now the H1 tag you see here, there are a lot or there are many derivatives of it. Let me use that word. So here we have the H2, we have the H3, H4, H5. So H2 here, H3 here, 4 here, 5 here. And the H6. Are we okay? The H6. Now, if I was to save my page now and I was to refresh my page, so I'm to go here and refresh my page, I can see that this is the H1, the H2, the H3, and it goes on till it gets to the H16. Now, looking at this, someone would tell me that, say, that means that if I want to make my text bigger, I will use H1. If I want to make it big small, then I'll use H2. If I want to make it like that. No, that is not the job of the H1 tag. The H1 tag is there for emphasis or importance. It means that this piece of text that I have wrapped around the H1 is the most important piece of text on my page. It has the most prominence of my page. In my entire page, this is the text which is of most what? Importance. The second most important piece of text on my page is the H2, then the H3, then the H4, and so on and so forth. So on your page, you use the H1 to show prominence. That is why whenever you are an IT consultant and they ask you, what is the best way for you to spread your website or let your website be known or increase the visiting rate of your website, they will tell you if you create a blog for your site, the number of hits you will get would be what? Plenty. Because the blog, the title of the blog would be a H1. And when Google is crawling through sites, it will crawl through as many H1s as it can to find its data. So if you put in keywords in your blogs a lot, it means the likelihood of people finding you would be high. For example, if on your blog you have these words, how to enlarge your backside. Anybody who types how to enlarge backside, how to enlarge Charlie, I like back, anything that has to do with back, your site will what? Come up. Because the site intentionally crawls in the H1 because you are telling the site that your most important piece of text on my site is the word H1. That means that if you are a developer of a website for people and your H1 tags makes no sense, you are killing your client. In Ghana, most people change their sites because they want it to look good. This site doesn't. It is not about the site looking good. It's about the site having as many visitors as it can. Your site can be the most disgusting site in the world. If it has 10,000 viewers per day, it's the best site in this world. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Your job as a website developer is not to develop a site which looks good. Your job as a website developer is to develop a site which brings the most amount of hits. That is, someone sees, clicks, go there, that's what they are supposed to do, and leave. So if your site doesn't do that, you have designed a poor what? Site. Does that make sense? So the H1 is that is what we are using it for emphasis. The P tag is there for paragraph. So if I want to write a paragraph in my web page, then I would use the word P tag. Now, what I have done, I want to draw a horizontal line under it. The HTML tag for a horizontal line is the HR tag. So over here, I've just drawn a horizontal line under the word P tag. At a certain level, you should know what is going to be on your screen by typing these tags. So if I go to my screen now, I expect to see this, and then I expect to see this, and after that, I expect to see a what? A line. So if I refresh and I don't see that, then I have not done a good job. So you can see that there is my site tag and then a what? A line. Can we see that? Are we sure? Great. So if I want to draw a line, the tag for me to draw a line is the HR tag. Those online, are we okay with that?
Yes, sir.
And we are also okay with the explanation for the H1.
Yes, though.
Okay. Now,
Yes, doc.
the next thing in which we are going to do after this is learn about the marquee. Okay. Now, the marquee is something in which we use every day. We have used marquee a lot. We use marquee a lot. We do. Are we okay? We use marquee a lot, especially when you're watching news. Back in the day, too, when we didn't have any mobile phones, because we should remember that some of us were born in a time when there was no mobile phone. Luckily for us, we were born in a time when mobile phones started. But back then, when there was no mobile phone, or let me rephrase, when we couldn't afford a mobile phone, if you came back from SS and you wanted to tell your girlfriend that I love you, you would have to send or make a call to the TV station. The TV station will record your message and they'll put it at the bottom of the show. Then you'll see Kofi loves Alma. Over here, I have the marquee. And the marquee is going to help me to do that. So the marquee here, I want to type email is xxx at gmail.com. And then my tele number. So I'll bring a pipe over here and say telephone number is going to be, let me get this one out of the way for us. 1 second. Good. So telephone number is going to be 00000000000. Okay? And then, of course, the marquee is a tag which has a close tag. So I'll close my what? Marquee. Now, if I come onto my screen and I click here, I should see the marquee taking effect. It will be coming very, very soon. Don't worry. You'll all see the marquee coming. Can we all see the marquee? Those online, can you see it?
Yes, sir. We can.
Can
Yes,
see the
sir.
email zooming on the screen like that. It is so. So all of us, let us add a marquee to the code in which we are writing. Yes. The what? Enter. Oh, sorry. This is an error which has to go out. Thank you very much. Because the code assumes that this is the close, so it has ended here. So this is not taking any effect. So let's all add the marquee to what we are doing. Another thing we have to do during the week is you have to go and look for the software called Baby's Beacon and learn how to type fast. I didn't mention your name. 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 Ah. Then change it to the keyboard type you want. Just go to settings, you see keyboard, then change the keyboard to the keyboard settings you want. That's all. Anyway, but Mavis Beacon, those online, don't think I can't see you, so I don't know if you are not typing or not. Those online.
We are typing, dog.
The next thing in which we are going to learn, so over here, I'll bring a line under this too, is how to make an ordered and an unordered list. So if I want to list items, I can list them in an ordered way or an unordered way. So how will I do that? So if I want an ordered list, then the tag for that is the OL. OL is one of those tags, again, which has a close tag. So you see that when I did the open OL, I have the close OL over here associated with it. So this is the open and close ordered list. And between the two, I now have to put in the items I want to what? List. In this case, the items I want to list are fruits. So over here, I'll start with LI, and here I have orange. And then I have grape. Over here, I have grapefruit. Of course, I can't talk about fruits if I don't talk about the mango. Of course, I can't talk about fruits if I don't mention apples. I think 5 is okay. So when I go to my screen, who can tell me what I expect to see on my screen? What is the expectation of my screen? I should have them listed line by line, but they should be what? Numbered, because they are an ordered list. So over here, if I refresh my screen again, I should have all my items listed for me, but they are listed in such a way that they are ordered. Like I know that this is 1, 2, 3, from 3, we go to 4, and from 4, we go to what? 5. Is that okay? Now, I am going to draw a line under that again, and we can, what tag do we use to draw a line? The HR tag. Very good. And then I will do another list, but this time it's going to be UL for unordered. And of course, I'll just put in the list items I have over here, over there too, so that we can see the difference. So if I refresh my screen again, I should see 2 lists. One of them is numbered, and the other one is not what? Numbered. The one numbered is the ordered list, the one unnumbered is the unordered list. Those online, are we okay? Lucky, are we okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, let's try the ordered and unordered.
Hello, Prof. I'm here.
Okay. Let's try the lists.
Okay.
Those are time to type it out, okay? We'll continue in a few seconds.
You know.
Oh yes, and those people who support Manchester United have given 2 marks because they support Manchester United. The keyboard okay now. Wonderful. So now we know the H1 tag, we know the P tag, we know the marquee, we know the line tag, we know the ordered list, we know the unordered list. The next thing we are going to learn to add to the things we need to know is how do we do a table in HTML. If I want to draw up a table, if I want to put content in a table, how will I do that? The first thing I would need to do is I would need to tell the computer that the content I am coming to do should be in the form of a table. How will I let the computer know that the content I'm coming to do should be in the form of a table? I will tell the computer by bringing in the table what? Tag. So the table tag announces that the content here is going to be of a form table. The next thing after that is I have to define my rows. Are we okay? So how many rows am I going to have? In my case, I am going to have 3 rows. So I will do TR for table row. Are we okay? And you can see that the table row has a close. So the table row closes up. And then I'll have another row here, and then another row here. So it means that my table is going to have 3 what? Rows. Then I have to define the columns of my table. So how many columns of the table am I going to have? I'm going to have 3 columns of my table. Oh, wait. I'm going to have 5. Yep.
Yes, please. I wanted to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can comment on our code?
Yes. So if you want to comment in HTML, then you bring the less than, exclamation mark, 2 commas, and then you type in the code in here. So as you can see, it is green now. So I'll have to do this and then close with that and that. And then whatever content I put in the middle is going to be a comment. And luckily, this would work with multiple line or single line. So if it's multiple line, I just end it where the comment is going to what? End. Is that okay, sure?
Yes, thank you.
An ordered list. So you can see that over here, these things here are UL, and everything here is what? OL. Are we okay? You can see that here there is order to it. Here there's no order to it. Is that okay? Any more questions? Those online, everybody's okay? All right. So as I said, if I want to do a table, I need to announce that I am doing a table with a table tag. I need to specify the number of rows I have in the table, right? Then now I have to work on the columns. In my table, I'm going to have 5 columns. So I will specify a column by using TD. So this is 1 column. And I said I'm going to have 5 columns. So it means that I need 5 of these to have my table columns being what? 5. Are we all clear on that? Are we sure? Are we very sure? So now the content of my columns. Over here, I'm going to have 1. And over here, I'm going to have X. And over here, I'm going to have 1. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have 2. Over here, I'm going to have equal to, and over here, it is going to be what? 2. So I'm done with these columns. The next columns is going to be under the next row. So for that, I'm going to have here being what? 3. And then here being, oh, sorry. I think I've done a mistake. Okay, that's fine. Here should be 2. That here would also be 2. Then here can be what? 4. Then over here, I can have the last one, whereby here is going to be 3. Then here is going to be what? 6. And what have I done? What have I achieved? I've just drawn a timetable for the 2 times table. How do I know I have done that? If I come to my screen, I should see a table over here with 3 rows and 5 what? Columns. Question, where are the lines? If this is a table, where are the lines? You have to tell the computer that it should draw the lines. How would you tell the computer draw the lines? Inside the table tag, you would add an attribute called what? Border, and set the border length to what? 1. So once you do that, when it is drawing now, because initially the border is set to 0, so it's nothing. But the moment you set the border to 1, you can see that the boxes come for it to appear like a table that you should be. So what did we learn in this scenario? You control everything that appears on the screen. How it appears, when it appears, if it appears, you control that. So if there is something not appearing the way it should be, it's either you didn't type something well on the tag placement or the placement of the close tag or something. You have to go and check your code. There's not a need to panic. Are we okay? So let us all add this piece of code into what we are doing to draw a table for ourselves. Those online, are we okay?
Yes,
sir, we are good. Yes, sir, we are good.
Julia, sorry, are we okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right. So let's add this to the code we are doing to see what we have. So when we are done, we would call people at random to see what they have done and see how theirs looks like and so on and so forth. Let me repeat it again. For the table tag, I need to specify 3 important things. Thing number 1, I need to tell the computer I'm coming to do a table. So I have to bring the table tag. That is very, very important. Thing number 2, I need to know how many rows I have. So if I have 2 rows, then I'll do the TRs, 2 of them. If I have 10, I have to do 10 of them. If I have 1,000, I'll do 1,000 of them. Then the columns are represented using the TB. So it means in my case, I have 5 columns. That's why I have the TB, 5 of them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TBs to mark 5 columns. If there were 3, then I'll have 3. If there were 2, then I'll have only what? 2. Then that is how I'll draw my what? Table. Is that okay? I can see that the people, they don't really need the record anymore. Are typing shabu shabu. What are this one? The border. Okay. Please, those online, if you have any question, ask. You're not alone. So if you have any problem or anything you want to share your screen with us for us to help you solve or anything like that, just ask, and then we would help you solve. Also remember that HTML is the fundamentals of everything we'll be doing. That is why I am taking my time to make sure everybody has a fair understanding of it, because very soon we'll have to start implementing it, and we'll be implementing it at a very fast rate. So your understanding of HTML has to be good. There is no negotiation of that section there. So we need you, or I need you, to understand this and understand it very, very well. Now, on your computer, I want you to go and look for an image in which you like. On your computer, I want you to look for an image you like. So for me, I am going to go to pictures. Do I have an image here? No, okay, I have this image here. So I'm going to use this. So let's all see what I'll do, those in class. I'm going to copy this image, okay? So I'm going to copy the image, and I'm going to move that image into my folder that I have. That is the My Site folder. Are we okay? Again, the root folder will be inside the root folder. So anything I would use for my site, I will put it inside the root folder before I use it. Is that okay? Then I would right click and change the name, because this name is too long. So I'll call my picture ing. Are we okay? Now, I need to know the type of file my image is. So I would right click on it. I would go and click on properties, and I will go and check to see what type of image do I have. And over here, they are telling me that my image is a, what kind of image is this for? Oh no, I'm in the wrong place. So right click on the image rather, and go to properties. And then I would see that under details, my image is a JPEG, right? Yeah, it's a JPEG. Yes, but it is spelled JPEG. When you check your image, probably to be spelled JPG. Some of you, your images will be PNG. Some of you, your images would be a GIF. You need to know the type of image you have. For me, mine is a JPG, spelled JPEG. Some of you, it will be GPG. There is no E. Are we clear on that? They are not the same. They are not the same. Are we okay? In terms of formatting, they are different. Are we okay? Good. Now, the reason we need to know the type of file is that we are going to call the file. And in calling a file, it is not just the name. It goes with the type of file that it is. So if the file name in my case is img, then it means that it is img.jpeg. Yours would be dot something jpg and so on and so forth. So in here, I want to add the image under the table. Okay? So before I do that, I want to do a line. And then under the line, I want to do the table, the image over there. So how will I do the image? I will have to tell the computer that I want to put in an image in that location. So I'll use img as the tag that I'll use to put an image there. The img tag is also one of those tags that does not have a close tag. So if I do img, I don't do close one. img. I'll bring a slash at the end and close it. That's number one. Now, the computer is going to say this individual wants to put an image in this location. But where is the image? So over here, I need to tell the computer where it can go and find the image I want to put in that location. So here I have to type src in here. So src here stands for the source. So what is the source of the image in which I want to put over there? So the source is img.what? JPEG. You can see that the name is there. When I click there, the name comes up. The name is not img. The dot, whatever it is, also comes with the name. The file type comes with the what? The name. Are we okay? Now, if I am to run this, let's all see what happens. Those online, those in the class. If I am to run this, I run it. Look at the image. That's taking up half of my screen. So this is not beneficial to me. I want the image to be of a specific what? Size. So I have to now size it up. Are we okay? So next to the SRC, I'll tell the computer that the width of the image I want should be 200 pixels. And then the height of the image in which I want should be what? 200 what? Pixels. Are we okay? So now, if I refresh the screen again, I should see my image there. But it looks like what? This. Let us all add an image to what we are doing. Just to recap, if I want to add an image to my site, I need to first of all go and get the image and put it inside my resource folder. I need to give it a name that is short and recognizable to me so that I can use in my site. I need to know the file type of my image. When I'm done, I'll come to my code. I will type in the image tag. I will type in the attribute source and put in the source of the image. And then I can specify the width and height if the image is not up to the size I want. Those online, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good. Yes, sir.
Are we all done typing? Those online, are we okay? Yes, if you have it, are you asking why or by later, it's even that that is right or vertical. So this is happening. Those are the those online are what? Can you hear me? Those online, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, we can.
You went off. Sorry about that. So have we all been able to add an image to the thing we are doing? Let's all look online. Let's all look online. Let's all look on the board for a second. Let's all look on the board for a second. Those online, I hope you can see the screen that is there.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
You can see some delicious restaurants whereby you have some nice pictures of people and the restaurant over here. Can we see that? Okay, good. Now, this site here is a combination of HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. Are we okay? Okay, that's fine. Now, the site in which we have there, in which you see there, if I was to go in there and I was to delete the CSS code in the site, so that site doesn't have CSS code anymore. This is how it would look like. Can we see that? So
Yeah.
the job of the HTML is to provide the structure of the page. At this stage of your life, you should know that this code here is a what list? An ordered list. You should know. At this stage, you should see that here we have an image. Here we have an image. Here we probably have a H word, 2. Here we have a paragraph. Then here we have an unordered word list. Over here we have a H2. We have a paragraph. We have some paragraph writing and so on and so forth. Now, if I add the CSS code to this side back, it is there that we can see us taking the structure and molding the structure into how we want. Then our site will look like what? This. Then everybody will say, wow, you did the site, wow, wow. But till then, our site will not look as nice as we want. Is that clear? So we are here. We haven't gotten there yet. We are still here doing our own shakara. We are still walking around the way. But very soon, we will get to the CSS stage whereby our site will have the glory we are looking for. Are we? There are a few more things we have to learn before we get out of here today. So let's learn them. There are a few more tags we have to learn. The next tag we have to learn is how we can do a form. If I want to do a form, what tags will I enter to do a form? So if I wanted to do a form, what will I type to do a form? Now, I have to again tell the computer that I am coming to do a form. So treat this section as a what? Form. So I have to type the form tag. So it means that everything that comes in within here is inside the what? Form tag. Please note how we can see that everything is inside the body tag, and everything you see, you can see the lines, right? You don't see one thing typed here, and another thing in some corner there, that. So over here, again, I want to do an input tag. And then I will specify the type of input I want. You can see that immediately I type in type. It gives me all the type of inputs I can put in my computer. I can put a button, a checkbox, a color, a date and time, a local date, an email, if I want to bring a file, if I want to hide it, if I want to bring in an image, if I want to bring in just the month, just the number, password, radio button, research. All of these things here are types of images, types of inputs I can introduce to my computer. The first one I want to introduce to my computer is that of what? Text. That means that the input I will be taking would be text. Yes. Someone unmuted. What's it? What was a mistake? Are you talking? Okay, let's continue. So in here again, I want to add a placeholder and tell the person that in this box, someone can enter their name. And then I'll end this with a slash and what? Close. That means that the input is also one of those tags that does not have a close what? Tag. Are we okay? The next type of input I want to use is that of type checkbox. So I want to bring in a checkbox. And beside the checkbox, I will type the mail, And then I will do another checkbox. And beside that checkbox, I'll do what? Female. Is that okay? Now on my screen, what do I have? I have, if I refresh my screen, I will have a place for someone to type. Can we see that? You can type here. And I will have a place for someone to take if they are male or what? Female. Can we see that? Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Pardon?
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's fine. It's allowing two because the checkbox there, you have it put in the codes to tell it that you should choose one over the other. Everything you see on your screen, you control. So it is not a computer going to do for you or anything. You control how it should be. But these are just the building blocks. Very soon we'll learn how we can control. It is there where people start to run away and people start to complain, say their boss is hard, their boss. Right now, the boss is not hard. Right now, you are doing, you do that until you show that you're happy. The day is coming. The day is coming when we complain. But today is first day, everybody has to be happy. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue. Now, again, we can see that everything is appearing in one straight line. We don't want that. So it means that at the end of the input, you have to introduce a break. You have to tell the computer that stop here and move to a new line. How do I tell the computer to stop here and move to a new line? I would use the BR tab, which is the break tab. So immediately the computer is going to stop and go to a new line. So if I refresh my page again, let's see how it's taking effect. Okay, let's see how it's taking effect here. A refresh here. We can see that it stops and then it moves to a what? New line. So the name and the female, the male and the female, they are not on one line. They are on separate what? Lines. Are we okay? Let's try another input. So the next input in which I'm going to try is for email. That means that whatever someone types here would be an email. So I add placeholder, enter your what? Email. The computer is going to force you to type in email characteristics there. That means the email format, which is the name at something dot something, that is the format the computer is going to force your user to what? Type. The next thing I want to add is the input type file. So over here, if I bring in file, the computer is going to allow the person to bring in or introduce a file to our application. Beside it, I will type choose your passport photo. What is going to happen on my screen? I am going to have all of these three things here on the same line. How do I know that? Because I have not told the computer to break and go to a what? New line. So we can see that all of them are on one line. I don't want that. So how will I stop it? At the end of, or at the beginning of each one, I will tell the computer to break and go to a what? New line. You control everything. You control how it appears. You control how it will be viewed. You control what the user will see. When you are typing the code, you should be confident enough to know what is happening on your screen. You should know it. And you should control it. The days of you coding whereby you type one line, then you go and check, is it there? Type another line, you go and check, is it there? No. Yes, so the placeholder, just a second, let me refresh this page. So we can see that the placeholder, you can see enter the name, right? When I start typing, it will go away. That is the placeholder. So the person knows what to type there. And we can see that the moment I did file, you can see choose a file here. And when you click to allow you to go and choose a file. Everybody online, are we okay? Are we all in parity?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, please.
That's fine. Again, those online, we are all together. So if there's something you don't understand, you want us to discuss, immediately unmute. Let us know. We would help you solve it. Okay?
Okay, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Hello, Doc.
They're typing. Go and let Mavis speak up.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Please, I realized the choose the file came with the default no file chosen. But where you type choose your passport photo comes along with that. How do you change the default to read choose your passport photo so that you don't have the situation where both will be showing on screen?
Okay, so over there, you have asked the question. Let me see if I add value here to do that. I don't think value will do that. Let me refresh the page. No file chosen. Okay, that's fine. I've forgotten how to do it though. Is it, would it be title? I don't think it is title. Normally, I use the CSS to replace the wording there. Normally, that's what I do. So I've forgotten how to use the HTML to do that. But I'll find out when we come next week, then I'll tell you, okay?
Okay.
All right. We good? We good? Now, over here, I want to add another thing. So if I only want to enter numbers, for example, I want to say here should be input type number. And then over here, I will have, input type number, placeholder, enter your salary. Great. Now, if I refresh my page, I would see something very distinct here. That because I said number, if I try to type anything other than a number, I am typing. Those online, if you can hear, those details you can hear, it's not coming. But the moment I start typing numbers, it will type in there. Now note that the people you are dealing with, your users, you have to control what they will input into your application. It's very important. Some people will type all sorts of manner of things and whatever. So you are controlling what they will type. So if I use input type number, that will happen. What's the problem? Someone's salary is not just a number. There's a dot there, and when then there's something else follows. So you can see that with this, I can do all of those things. It allows me to do the dot. If it is going to be, it allows me to do the dot and everything. So everything here is what? Okay. Of course, if I want someone to choose a color too, I can say input what? Color. For example, if I am designing an application whereby people can use the application to select the clothes they want, because tailors are liars and they never do everything on time. So I want an application whereby you go choose the dress you want, you measure yourself, then you choose the fabric color and things. And when you click a button, within 3 days, we'll bring you your cloth in a box and we'll charge you delivery fee. Because Ghana right now, everything delivery fee. No, yeah. So if I want you to gather your color over there, I can put it color here. I'll be okay. And then in here, I'll just edit like this. And I'll realize that on the screen, I should have an input whereby an individual can come and choose the color they want. Please don't go and steal my tailor ID. I'm doing that thing to collect money. So don't see you. That is what we do over here. Yes. The what? This one. Yes, it is just writing that is associated with it. It's not part of the input tag.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes.
So for the this Isaac, right?
Okay.
Isaac Ban. So for the choose your photo, right? If we are supposed to put it inside the input tag and make it as a placeholder, then it will show.
Nothing
Like
will show. Nothing will show. So that for some of them, I don't add placeholders if you are very observant. For example, when I did a checkbox, I didn't add a placeholder. When I did color, I didn't add a placeholder. Because the way they will be displayed, there is no place for you to put in a placeholder. If I put a placeholder in color, the thing that is there is the color that you are choosing. So there's no place for you to put in a placeholder. For file type, over here, you can see that the placeholder is where you go and choose the file. So if I put in a placeholder, nothing will show over there. That's why I brought this piece of information close to it to give you more information on what to do. Now, you can change the information you have here. You can style it using CSS and using JavaScript so that instead of it showing choose a file to show something else, and when the person selects the file, the thing they have selected will appear there. For example, if I select here and go and choose this file, for example, you can see that immediately this side shows me that it is advanced Java I have picked. Can we see that? So with some certain inputs, there's no need for a placeholder. The inputs in which the user has to physically type, for example, the inputs, the data, the email, the phone number, that one you can add a placeholder because there's a spot for the person to type. But for some of them, they don't have any spot for you to type in. So even if you add a placeholder, it will not show because there's no place for you to place hold and hold something for you. Do you understand? But for all of them to, you can use styles to design them differently from how they are, and then add things and remove things. For example, with the choose a button, we could have done it so that when you choose a certain file, we can show you the file. Like how on your passport picture, when you select, then your picture will come there. We can do that for the picture to come there. Then everything will not be there. Or sometimes when you have to put in your passport picture, it doesn't show like this, but it shows the box. Then when you click, then the box, you put your picture, then your picture will appear inside the box. So it is the file inputs that they have made to look like the box, so that you can fit the information there. But not all the inputs can you use the placeholder. So you can see that, for example, if I use a placeholder for a checkbox, where is the person going to see the content to placeholder? Or do you understand? I hope I've answered your question. The guy online. Bye. Have I answered your question? Are the online people there? Has the internet cut?
But we are here.
Okay. Yes. Your what? Your file. Your file is not you. No, you just can't. No, no, when I'm coming there. That is coming with an image. Let's see why. That's why the Islam is. I don't like it. That you go through, because I'm really anyway, you know, I come back here. Yes, use that when the person asks you, or when the input type involves in typing. So those online, someone had an error, and I had to go and help the person solve the error. But we are back in. So the final thing we'll learn under the form tag is how we can submit the form. Are we okay? So here our input type is going to be submit. And then here we are going to have a value for our input called what? Submit. We are also going to have another input, which is of type reset. And we are going to have a value of reset form. Now, all the attributes you see there, they have a value property. The value property is what we see, or when you type what we see. For the inputs, let me give you an example. Over here, if I had typed a value property of, let's say, enter name, and then I refresh my page, okay? So you can see that the enter name has come. But in this case, I have to delete what is there before I come and what? Type. Because that is pressed. That is what the computer will take. The value property is what the computer will take. Are we clear on that? Now, if I use the placeholder, I don't have to type anything there. When will we use this? For example, if you have a form that is pre-filled, so let's say some fields already there, you put it inside the value property so that the person doesn't have to type again. But in cases where the person has to type, you don't want to have something there for the person to delete, so it will be left what? Open. And then over here too, we can see that here we have submit and we have reset what? Form. Because we put them in the value properties, we can see them. Because with the form, there is no, with an input type that is a button, where are you going to get a placeholder to showcase anything? So for that, we are putting it inside the value for the person to see. But for the input tags in which someone will type, we leave the value open because when the person types, it goes directly inside the value property. I hope I'm clear. Do I have to go over that? Those online?
This one more.
Yes, kindly take it again for us.
Okay. I'm saying that whenever you type in a computer, so whenever I type here, I type something here, or I tick this button here, or I type something here, or I go and choose a file here, and then click inside here. And then here, I come and type something there. Over here, I choose a color in which I want. Anytime I do any of these activities, I am technically doing that activity into the value property of the input tag. So if on my form, I go and then directly type, so here I have where I have the enter the name, directly type a value for the name. So here I type in Mark, for example. It means that on my screen, when I refresh, the value property of the input tag will be set, and it is set to what? Mark. Because it is set to Mark, you see that unlike this one, the placeholder, where I don't have to delete anything. When I start typing, then it goes out. With this, when I come, I will have to delete the mark because I am trying to fill or refill the value property. So now that the value property is open for me, I can now what? Fill it with information. I can now type in the mark in which I want. So all of these things here, the value property is left empty so that you can type what you want. But for the button, we will type in the value property. Why? Because a button doesn't have a placeholder for it to be displayed and to disappear. As we can see, these things, they can type here so we can display and disappear. So for us to show what we want to show in the button, we type it inside the value property. So you can see that over here, I typed directly inside the what? Value property for this, and inside the value property for what? For that. So that they can show on the screen. So here, if I wanted to add submit with a capital S here and say submit, button. Over here, when I refresh the page, I would see what the submit what button, because that's what I want you to see for the buttons. Are we okay? So again, with the reset, if I click on it, because it's a reset, it will reset my form for me. So if I have something here and something here, and I click in reset, it will remove all of those things for me to watch, retype. We can see that the mark didn't go away because the mark, we have permanently set its value here in our code. So if you want it to go away, then it means this mark here should not work, exist. Hence, whenever we leave it empty, it will not work. Today, we have managed to introduce ourselves to various tags. and various elements. Wonderful. Your job for the week is to go and look for a family member you like. And if in your family you have no one you like, look for a loved one you like. And if in your life you have no one you like, look for a food you like. And if you have no food you like, then start crying, because me, I don't know what type of life you are living. But whatever happens, look for someone you like in your life and develop a website for the person. Use the person as a topic, and your website should describe the person to the T. So you pick the topic. If you want to describe the person's work, describe the person's work. So his name is this date, that date, whatever. If you want to describe the person's entertainment, like he likes going here, travel, whatever you choose is your topic. But at the end of the day, I should be able to see a website, just like how we did in class today. Nothing fancy, just using the basic elements, right? Correctly placed to design a site that describes an individual in your life. Are we okay? Exactly. Those online, are we okay with that?
Yes, yeah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So
Okay, Doc.
that is the activity for the day. Next week, when we come, we would do some new HTML tags. That is, we'll do the div tag and learn what the division tag is and how we can use the division tag. And we will introduce ourselves also to CSS and see how we can develop a site or a simple calculator application. So next week we will develop this. Let me see if I have it here. Do I have it here? Yes, I have it here. So next week we will develop this calculator application. We will design it so that the calculator buttons would show like this and green and whatever we show. If we are able to finish early, then we would also design this nice looking site, simple CSS, simple placement of data. You know, this is a table, this is a form, this is an LI, and so on and so forth. So we will design this. And if we are able to finish early, I don't think we'll finish early. But if we are able, then we'll design this one too. You can see that progressively our designs are going to improve very, very quickly. And before the end of the third week, we should be able to build a simple site for ourselves that looks nice. That is the aim. Then from there, we'll start to look at the database and how we can push the data into the database. Because if you can't design the form, how are you going to push the data into the database? That doesn't make sense. So we'll design a nice form, then push the data there, then see how we can retrieve the data from there, and so on and so forth. And as I said, in order to know this course, there is a certain level of practice that is there. You are not undergrad, so the whole advice on life is a very, very useless part, because right now you are living it. Give or take, life has come for you, so you no advice day for you. But the truth is, now you must know how the IT world is, and it is skill-based. The person with the best skill can eat. The person without the best skill, you are basically useless in the organization. So we need to build our skills. We need to practice the small things and perfect it, so that when the big things like what you see on the screen comes, you will be perfect and will have no problems with it. Before we go, are there any questions in which we need to ask ourselves? Those online, any questions?
No, sir.
It's already saved. So every time you go into the folder on your desktop and click on it, to be there. And if you want to type codes in it, then it means you open it using the VS Code. Because anytime you go to your desktop, when you click on it, you open it in the browser. When you want to type the codes there, then you open it in VS Code, the codes will come, then you can make modifications to it. Is that okay? Also, I'll be sending you a video on the HTML and CSS bit, so that you can start learning that before we come next week. Okay? So for those online, I'm going to end it here for you, and then we can end the class.
Hello, Doc. Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Kindly go back to the coding box and let me pick something there.
Okay, no problem. By the way, I'll be sending the code I did to you guys, okay?
Oh, okay, then that's okay. Thank you.
Or I'll be sending the codes to you, don't worry. So that you can compare. All right. And also, in the next hour or two, I'll put the entire video of our class there, so that those of you who want to rewatch it and go over it again, you can do that, okay? All right.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. So let's all see each other again next week. And during the week, as much as possible, try and practice. If you need any help, you can call me. But don't call me after 9 o'clock. Those of you call me after 9 o'clock, stop that life. I have a life too, you know. Bye-bye.